Disney, once America's most beloved brand, is facing a crisis like never before. In just weeks, public favorability has plunged across Democrats, Republicans, and moderates alike. What caused this sudden collapse? A single shocking controversy on Jimmy Kimmel Live. False comments, millions of angry viewers, and even Disney Plus subscribers leaving. The backlash has been swift and brutal. Was this a PR nightmare Disney could avoid, or a turning point for the House of Mouse? Stay tuned, because the story behind this collapse is stranger and more dramatic than you could imagine. A recent nationwide poll has revealed a dramatic decline in how Americans perceive the Walt Disney Company, marking a sharp drop in the brand's long-standing popularity. Once admired for bridging cultural and political divides, Disney now finds itself facing widespread disapproval. The surprising factor behind this shift, some suggest, may be linked to the late-night television world, particularly the ongoing controversy surrounding Jimmy Kimmel. As the fallout from the so-called Kimmel Fiasco continues, questions are mounting about whether Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, can successfully steer the company's image back on course, or if the entertainment giant must now confront a growing public sentiment turning against it. For years, Disney held a unique position in American culture, a symbol of unity that appealed across party lines. However, new findings from thatparkplace.com, in an article by Marvin Montinro titled "Disney Favorability Plummets Among Both Democrats and Republicans After Kimmel Fiasco," suggest that this universal appeal may be slipping away. The report highlights a rare moment in Disney's history, a time when both Democrats and Republicans appear equally critical of a brand that once brought them together. Would you like me to make it sound more formal and news article style, or keep this conversational and narrative tone? During the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, Disney stood apart from politics. It was seen purely as a wholesome, family-oriented brand, one that brought joy to children and parents alike, no matter their beliefs. Families from across the political spectrum eagerly visited its theme parks, watched its films, and subscribed to its entertainment services without ever associating the company with controversy. But that chapter of Disney's history now seems to have closed. A recent analysis by Jeff, using data from Morning Consult polling, reveals that Disney's favorability has taken a steep downturn among both Democrats and Republicans, marking one of the most dramatic image declines in the company's modern history. At the heart of this shift lies the fallout from Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, which followed false and inflammatory remarks he made in response to the tragic death of Charlie Kirk. To understand the scale of this backlash, Yahoo Finance, in partnership with The Wrap, has presented detailed visual data showing just how sharply public sentiment toward Disney has fallen. The findings reveal that both Disney's corporate image and its streaming platform, Disney Plus, have suffered a significant dip in consumer approval following the controversy. Adding to the discontent is the announcement of upcoming price hikes for Disney's streaming service, a move that has only deepened public frustration. And now, many are questioning the narrative itself, wondering, could it really be that Jimmy Kimmel's false statements sparked such a powerful backlash against one of America's most iconic brands? Interestingly, despite its title, Jimmy Kimmel Live isn't actually broadcast live, but the name has become ironic in light of recent events. The controversy began when Jimmy Kimmel made false statements on air regarding a national tragedy. His remarks sparked outrage, leading many network affiliates to pull the show temporarily, stating that their audiences would not support such content. However, it's important to note that the didn't start with his suspension. It began the moment those misleading comments aired. To better understand the fallout, analysts turn to data from Morning Consult, which tracks weekly shifts in brand sentiment and awareness. The firm's findings were striking. In just 2 weeks, public perception of the Walt Disney Company fell sharply among both Democrats and Republicans. Notably, the decline was more severe among Democrats, marking one of the steepest drops in recent memory. For Democrats, the latest data shows Disney's lowest favorability rating in the past 2 years. Among Republicans, sentiment has also dipped, reaching its weakest point since March. These results reveal a broader truth. This isn't merely a partisan issue. Disney's image is deteriorating across the political spectrum, suggesting that frustration with the brand now extends well beyond traditional ideological divides. There's a deeper story unfolding here, one that everyone should be aware of. I'll get to the data in just a moment, I promise. The charts are coming. Those steep, dramatic drops in sentiment you're about to see tell quite the story. But before diving into the numbers, it's important to understand why Disney's favorability has fallen more sharply among Democrats than Republicans. And the reason, as it turns out, isn't entirely new. As Ariel Zilber of the New York Post reported back in 2023, Disney's reputation had already taken a serious hit due to its highly publicized feud with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. This dispute, which placed the company at the center of a national political firestorm, set the stage for growing dissatisfaction across multiple demographics. That year, the Axios Harris Poll 100, which ranks the most reputable brands in America, recorded a major setback for Disney. Under Bob Iger's leadership, the media giant dropped 12 places, landing at 77th on the list, just above eBay and JCPenney, but surprisingly below Bed Bath & Beyond. The data painted a clear picture. Americans rated brands like McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Bed Bath & Beyond more favorably than Disney, a stunning shift for a company once viewed as a symbol of family fun and national pride. This earlier decline revealed a crucial point. Disney's image troubles didn't begin overnight. The political clashes in Florida and the resulting perception of partisanship had already chipped away at the company's once universal appeal. The recent fallout surrounding Jimmy Kimmel simply deepened a trend that was already well underway. Disney's troubles in Florida were a turning point, and one they ultimately lost. The company's clash with the state over political and cultural issues signaled a major shift, particularly among conservatives. Many Republican viewers had already distanced themselves from Disney long before the latest controversies. To them, the company had become emblematic of values they no longer shared. From titles like Strange World and Lightyear to reimagined franchises such as Star Wars and Marvel, critics on the right felt Disney had strayed too far from its roots. For many, that was reason enough to walk away. Now, in the present day, Disney faces yet another crisis. James Heaney, an analyst at Jefferies, described the situation as clearly a PR hit for Disney, though he noted that the data suggests the damage to Disney Plus may be slightly less severe than to the company's overall image, potentially limiting mass cancellations. Still, the impact is undeniable. Estimates indicate that between 1.4 and 1.7 million subscribers have left Disney Plus since the controversy erupted. The saga began on September 17th, when Disney temporarily pulled Jimmy Kimmel Live from ABC's lineup after Nexstar Media Group and Sinclair Broadcasting objected to the host's comments. However, the real beginning wasn't the suspension itself. It was the moment Jimmy Kimmel made false statements on national television about a tragic event. That misstep set off a chain reaction, leading to the current media storm. The company's response only intensified the divide. According to Jefferies data, Democrats viewed Disney's suspension of Kimmel as caving to political pressure, interpreting it as an attack on free speech and artistic independence. Republicans, on the other hand, condemned Kimmel's comments as deeply offensive, especially given the sensitive nature of the tragedy he referenced. What's clear is that Disney is now caught in a cultural tug-of-war, one where every decision is scrutinized from both sides of the political spectrum, leaving little room for neutrality. It's important to understand how each side of the political spectrum perceives this controversy, and, in many ways, observers outside the debate may see the divide more clearly than those caught in it. Republicans viewed Jimmy Kimmel's remarks not as mere insensitivity, but as a deliberate falsehood, a vicious lie, as some described it, that disrespected both Charlie Kirk and his supporters. The emotional weight of that accusation has only amplified the tension surrounding Disney's handling of the situation. Now, let's take a closer look at the data, particularly the shifts in Disney's positive and negative sentiment over the past 6 months. There are some unusual patterns here that need context. The Morning Consult poll doesn't present its findings in a straightforward way, making interpretation a bit tricky. Here's what the numbers suggest. The sentiment scale starts at 0 and extends into negative territory, meaning that a figure labeled 10 corresponds to roughly 60% approval, while -10 would indicate around 40%. Back in April 2025, Disney's standing among Republicans hovered around 10 points positive, translating to about 60% favorability, a surprisingly strong number for a group often critical of the brand. However, by the final week of September, the company's reputation took a sharp downturn. Among Democrats, support fell dramatically, from just under 40 points positive to roughly neutral, marking an astonishing 40-point swing in just 1 week. Republicans, meanwhile, saw a smaller decline. But it's important to remember that their baseline sentiment toward Disney was already low due to earlier controversies. This leaves two possible explanations. Either the polling method obscures some of the underlying shifts, or Disney's recent controversies have truly triggered one of the fastest, broadest declines in public favor the company has ever seen. It seems unlikely that Republican support for Disney suddenly rebounded in such a short span of time. More plausibly, the poll's structure or methodology may not align with more consistent findings from established firms such as Ipsos or Rasmussen, both of which have previously highlighted widespread dissatisfaction among Americans regarding Disney's recent direction. Because of the way this survey presents its data, it's difficult to pinpoint exact percentages or interpret the full scope of sentiment. In fact, the poll doesn't clearly disclose its detailed results, a choice that makes it harder to gauge just how deep public disapproval may truly run. This lack of transparency raises the possibility that the data might have been framed to soften the appearance of Disney's challenges. Yet, despite these limitations, some clear trends do emerge. Looking at the broader signal, the two-year trajectory of Disney's positive versus negative sentiment, the decline is unmistakable. The poll confirms that Republicans held a significantly stronger dislike for Disney 1 or 2 years ago, and that this negativity has eased somewhat over time. That gradual rebound suggests the company may have been slowly rehabilitating its image, at least among certain groups. Even so, the data remains complex and open to interpretation. While Disney might be making incremental progress in rebuilding trust, the overall sentiment still reflects a brand wrestling with public skepticism, and a long road ahead before it can reclaim its once universal appeal. In the end, Disney's handling of the Jimmy Kimmel controversy seems to have alienated nearly everyone, conservatives, moderates, and liberals alike. That, more than anything, is the central takeaway here. While the poll itself deserves criticism for its lack of transparency, offering little clarity on how questions were phrased or what methodology was used, one result is unmistakable. Public sentiment toward Disney dropped across all major political groups at once. That kind of unified backlash is rare, and it signals a serious misstep. The data suggests that Disney's response to the Kimmel situation was mishandled from every angle. Yet the way the story has been framed in the media adds another layer of confusion. Outlets like The Wrap have presented the narrative as if Disney's decision to suspend Kimmel was the root cause of the controversy. But that overlooks a key fact. Kimmel's own remarks, which triggered the entire sequence of events, came first. Reportedly, Disney found itself in a bind. After pulling Kimmel off the air, industry insiders claimed that Hollywood talent agencies pushed back, threatening to withhold access to other performers unless Disney reinstated him. Under mounting pressure, the company relented. According to reports, the production team even had to bring Kimmel's equipment back into the studio, reversing his cancellation in an effort to stabilize relations. And yet, despite the reversal, the damage was done. Every segment of the American audience, left, right, and center, now views Disney less favorably than before the incident. The company's attempt to navigate between outrage from the left and backlash from the right ultimately satisfied no one. Had Disney chosen to stand firm and permanently part ways with Kimmel, the fallout might have been different. Yes, progressives may have criticized the move as silencing free speech, but conservatives could have seen it as a stand for accountability. Instead, by backtracking, Disney managed to frustrate both sides, a textbook example of how indecision in crisis management can erode trust across the board. There's a possibility that Disney could have used this moment to recalibrate its reputation. Some might argue that moderates could have responded positively if the company had taken a stronger stand. The incident involving Charlie Kirk resonated far beyond partisan lines. Many Americans, regardless of political affiliation, felt that Kimmel had crossed a clear boundary. The reaction wasn't limited to conservatives. People across the spectrum found the remarks shocking, inappropriate, and even offensive. Had Disney firmly declared, "Kimmel, you've crossed the line, you're not coming back," it's likely that both conservatives and moderates might have viewed the House of Mouse more favorably. Instead, the company's actions ended up alienating nearly everyone. Conservatives felt dismissed and reminded that Disney's leadership can't stand them. Meanwhile, many on the left were not appeased either. Reinstating Kimmel did not win back the trust of progressives who already felt the company had mishandled the situation. For a segment of the population that neither forgives nor forgets, roughly 15%, the reversal only reinforced the perception that Disney had failed to uphold its principles. In short, by trying to straddle the divide, Disney satisfied no one. Conservatives saw betrayal, moderates saw indecision, and progressives saw a lack of consistency. The result, a widespread decline in favorability across the political spectrum, leaving the company grappling with a reputation crisis that could take years to recover from. From one perspective, the narrative seems clear. Disney was defeated. Critics painted the company as anti-free speech and unresponsive to public outrage, forcing the reinstatement of Jimmy Kimmel. And the data reflects just how costly that misstep was. Across multiple demographics, Disney's favorability dropped 10, 20, even 40 points, a collapse that underscores how poorly the situation was managed. Perhaps the most striking aspect is the personal dimension of the fallout. Dana Walden, widely believed to be a potential successor to Bob Iger as CEO, was directly involved in the phone call with Kimmel, placing her squarely at the center of the controversy. Reports suggest that tensions ran high among Disney's leadership and institutional investors alike. Hurt feelings, internal disagreements, and reputational damage have all compounded the public relations crisis, leaving the company with a series of black eyes at every level. The Kimmel incident has therefore served as a stark reminder. Missteps in managing cultural controversies can ripple far beyond headlines, affecting both brand perception and internal dynamics. For those interested in a deeper dive into the behind-the-scenes drama at Disney, more detailed analysis is available on Patreon at www.patreon.com/WDWpro. Alright, everyone, that's where we'll wrap up for today. Thanks for joining us. Disney's recent drop in favorability raises big questions. What will the ramifications be? Fewer Disney Plus subscribers is a given, but the ripple effect could reach much further. What about the parks? If public sentiment toward Disney continues to sour, the magic of the castle and the joy associated with its experiences might lose some of their shine. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and take a moment to drop a comment with your thoughts. Seriously, we want to hear from you, whether it's a quick reaction, a thoughtful insight, or even a friendly disagreement. Your voice adds so much to the conversation. Engaging with the content doesn't just help the channel grow, it also sparks discussion, encourages dialogue, and gives us all a chance to learn from each other. Every time you interact, whether through a like, a share, or a comment, you're helping build a community of curious, engaged people who care about the stories and topics we cover. And that's not something to underestimate. Remember, if you see the hype button, that's your cue to hit it. It's more than just a fun little feature, it's a way of showing support for the content you enjoy and signaling to the channel that the work being done here matters to the audience. That small click might seem minor, but it's part of a bigger ecosystem that helps creators keep making the content you love. The more people interact with videos, the more energy and resources go into improving production, exploring new topics, and giving you even better insights next time. Engagement drives growth, and growth drives opportunity, and by hitting that hype button, you're directly part of that chain. Until next time, remember to keep learning, keep growing, and keep enjoying the journey. Life, just like this channel, is all about curiosity and exploration. Whether you're diving into news, discovering a new theme park tip, or just enjoying a behind-the-scenes look at your favorite stories, every bit of knowledge you pick up contributes to a bigger picture. Growth isn't always linear, and learning doesn't have to be formal. It can happen anywhere, at any time, and in countless ways. So whether you're reading, watching, or commenting, consider each moment a chance to expand your horizons. And yes, to end on a lighter note, we have a fun announcement. We've finally got our very own emoji on WDWpro's channel. Fans have been requesting this for what feels like forever, and it's finally here. It's a little thing, sure, but it represents a lot, a sense of identity, community, and shared enthusiasm. Emojis may seem simple, but they are a fun, playful way for people to interact, express themselves, and show support while being part of something bigger. So the next time you see that emoji pop up in the chat or comments, remember that it's a symbol of everyone who's part of this journey together. Just a reminder, every vote, every click, every interaction truly matters. Whether you're sharing a video, posting a comment, or simply hitting like, each action helps shape the way content is created, distributed, and experienced. Engagement is not passive, it's active participation in the growth of a community. You're not just watching, you're contributing to the culture of the channel, helping guide the conversation, and influencing the stories we tell. So don't underestimate the power of these small gestures. Think of it this way, each time you interact, you're leaving a footprint in a digital landscape that grows and evolves with your input. You're helping build something bigger than yourself, something that connects people from all walks of life who share a common interest in Disney, entertainment, and cultural insight. And that connection, the one that comes from shared curiosity, discussion, and engagement, is at the heart of why this community exists. So go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the hype button, and don't hold back. Your voice matters, your actions matter, and your participation is what keeps the journey exciting, dynamic, and meaningful. We're all in this together, learning, growing, and enjoying the ride, and every single click, comment, and reaction is part of the adventure.